This is a presentation of the BKI BLF F Auto Lift Fryer. This is an additional piece of equipment we'll be using, which is the breading station, BT24M, producing a beautiful, crisp fried chicken. This is a tour of the fryer. Note the toggle switch. There's position for fry, which is down. Middle position is for off. And the upper toggle is for the filtering system. We're now in the off position. The basket up switch manually lifts the basket up out of the oil, and the basket down lowers the basket into the oil, which is the position you always fill the basket with chicken. This is the programming of the manual thermostat. We will start below 150 degrees, which is the off position. We will always preheat the oil to 225 degrees, stirring the oil at 225 degrees. After it reaches temperature and is stirred, we'll move it to the cook temp of 325 degrees. We always cook at 325 degrees. And for the boil out, we'll always go to 190 degrees. This is the timer, and it's very simple to program. We will hold one of 4 different buttons for 4 different times for cooks. The arrows up or arrow down controls the time, and then we will hold in the button. It will beep to set. Setting B, we'll go to the temp, hold it in, and it will set. C, same story. Bring it down to the temp we want and hold, and it will beep and memorize. And D, the same story, set the temp, hold D in, and it will beep and set. Now we'll go back and check A, B, C, and D. All are programmed very simply. To start the cook, we'll push the start button, and you'll immediately see the drop down of time. To stop, we'll push the stop button and hold, and it will blink, and we can go back to the cook time by way of touching A and stop. After the cook, the alarm will fire, and to stop the alarm, all we'll do is push the alarm button, which will stop the alarm, then we'll open the fryer, which will start the process. Inside the door, you'll find the drain control. It's in the closed position now. To go to the open position to drain oil or water from the fry pot, it would be vertical or open. That is now in the closed position. Note the filtration through the pot or through the hose. We will put it in the pot position for cooking. This is the hose socket if we're using a hose for filtration. And this is the condensate catch, which should be emptied and cleaned daily. This is the filter pot with handle. Always handle the filter pot with the handle, as it may be hot. This is the filter pot cover, and it should be on at all times when operating the fryer. Again, using the handle to slide it back in, and you will feel it click in to the patented Quick Connect system. On the inside of the door is the ID tag for the fryer with serial numbers and models. There's also a 555 sheet for maintenance, an instruction and safety card, full safety operating instructions, and notices on the operation of the fryer. All fryers are supplied with locking casters to put the lock on, step on the on button, and push down. These are the fuse holders and the red reset button, which is underneath the lip in the fry filter area. To reset the keyboard, touch the red button. This is the reset button on the pump for filtration. Note the red button, and it can be pushed in. It should be pushed in by the end of a screwdriver, as it is rather stiff. This is the fry oil level, where you want the oil to be when you're frying, and these are the elements that must be covered for frying. This is the drain that allows the oil to be pumped down into the filtration system and back up. This is the BLF basket being manually dropped into the oil. You will always fill the basket with food when it's in the down position. When the product is finished and the timer is complete, the product will lift out in the basket and be out of the oil. This is the filter pot, and again, using the handle to pull it out as it may be hot. And we've disconnected from the quick disconnect. And again, reviewing that this cover should be on at all times of operation of the fryer. Now we'll break down and set up the fry pot, lifting off the cover, noting that the label is the front of the cover. And we ship it with filter paper and filter paper clip, a large crumb catcher, and note the handle on the front denotes the front of the large crumb catcher. The filter tube, and note the clip that engages into the back side of the fry pot, and note the small crumb catcher and the filter. And note this is the cutout for the tube. This is the cutout for the crumb catcher, and obviously this is the handle to be handled at all times. Now to put together the filtration system, the main filter goes directly into the filter paper envelope, and the tube will come out through the hole. Now we're going to fold one corner, the second corner, and then fold over the filter paper on itself, giving a nice tight fit, and then sliding the filter paper clip all the way over the filter paper and the filter, locking small particles out of the filter system. Then the small crumb catcher, and then the filter tube. Push hard in putting it in because there's an O-ring that you must pass to be able to thread it down onto the filter. Tighten, finger tight. And now you've completed it. This is for cleaning or replacing. Now setting the filter assembly into the filter pot and allowing the tube to go into its cutout, making sure that it's straight. Then adding the large crumb catcher. The handle is forward. And lastly, setting the cover on. Label denotes the front. Now it's ready to be reinstalled into the fryer. And all you do is push You'll feel the click of the quick disconnect, push, and it will seat itself. The components that are supplied with the fryer are full set of insulated gloves, the pot brush, the element brush, the drain brush, and 3 filter papers, all supplied with the fryer. Additional accessories used in this presentation are the BT24M marinator and breader, and also the LTS landing station. Preparing the fryer for frying. First, you must add oil to within about 1/8 of an inch of the oil level marked on the fryer. Note, this is the oil level mark, and we're just below it. The oil will expand during heating. Preparing the food on the BT24 breading station is very simple. Piece of chicken, make sure that you pull the skin up so that there's breading all the way through into the breading, press down, toss, and then knock the extra breading off. And we're going to segregate by part because we load the fryer by part. We're folding the wing, as is the best way to fry a wing for consistency. We'll dust and then shake off the extra. Now with the leg again, we're going to pull the skin down into the breading, toss and press, tap for extra breading off, and we're organizing by part. With the thigh, we always break the joint on the thigh before breading, tossed into the breading and pressed, shaken off, and then segregated by part. The breast, try to pull the skin as best possible over the whole piece. Into the breading, push down, toss, push down, and then tap off the extra breading. Once using the breading, you'll have a beautifully ready to fry piece of chicken. Now we'll finish this bucket of chicken, and as you always will, as you fill a full fryer full of chicken, which could be up to 48 pieces of chicken before going to the fryer. I would turn on the fryer to fry, to allow the oil to heat up correctly for our fry. When preparing to cook, we start from below 150 degrees, which is the low setting on the manual thermostat control. We will take it to 225 degrees, preheat the oil, stir, and then take the oil to the cook temp, which we always cook at 325 degrees. Now we'll set the cook time. We're going to choose button A, and we're going to take it up to 15 minutes and 30 seconds. Hold A in till it beeps, and the time is set. When we go to cook, we'd hit start. And now we're ready to go. The oil is at full cook, and number one, we're loading the thighs, and we're going clockwise, and it's down and away from your body. And the thighs take the longest to cook, so we're doing those first, and you'll notice it's a clockwise motion of dropping the chickens. Now the breasts, number two, again the clockwise motion. Number 3 is the legs, down and away and clockwise. And lastly will be the wings. After loading it completely, we'll take off our rubber gloves and switch to our insulated gloves. While it's cooking, make sure you clean your area well of breading and oil. Once the chicken is completely cooked and the timer times out, the basket will automatically lift out of the oil, as we're noting here. And we'll need to check the internal temperature of the chicken to make sure we get 180 degrees or more. Once you're satisfied that the chicken has reached 180 degrees at its minimum, you use the handle and the lower handle to dump the chicken onto the LTS loading station and replace the basket to the auto lift bar. Note how beautiful the chicken is, crisp and fresh, beautifully cooked. We'll now filter the oil. First of all, shut off the fryer. We'll use a series of 3 brushes to loosen all the sediment in the fryer oil. First thing, the drain brush we'll use to clean the drain, and always tap the brushes before you take them out of the fry pot area so you have no dripping of oil. Now use the element brush to go in behind the elements and in between them to clean out any sediment that may be stuck in the elements. And lastly, the pot brush. And this is used for scrubbing under the lip of the pot and the sides to make sure you get all of the burnt on crusting, and down into the bottom of the pot to circulate all of the built up sediment in the bottom, and stirring so that gets into the oil so it'll be filtered down through the drain. Now we'll open the drain valve and making sure that we're filtering through the pot on the left-hand valve. Opening the drain, the oil will start to drain into the filter pot. We need to agitate the oil as the oil is going down, stirring so that you get all of the crumbs picked up from the sides and the bottom and all of the sediment down through the drain to filter out before you return the clean oil to the fry pot. Now turning on the filter and making sure the valve is closed, the oil will start to pump up into the fry pot, and it's clean and ready for the next cook. At this point, you want to make sure when the oil fills the fry pot that it goes to the fry level. If it does not, make sure you add fresh oil to the pot. When it's finished filtering, there'll be large bubbles coming through the center of the oil. As you see here, you are now finished filtering. Shut off the fryer. This is the boil out procedure, which should be done once a week. Notice the oil level and the dirtiness of the fry vat. We will clean all of that. First thing you do is make sure that we're through the pot filtration and that we open the drain to drain out the old oil. We're circulating again to make sure all the sediment that can will leave the pot, and we're doing this without the fryer being turned on. Remember, we never pump water through the pump. It's all done with the fryer off. We've removed the filter pot and it's gone to the kitchen for cleaning. We're going to slide a 5-gallon pail underneath the drain. We want to make sure that we close the valve now completely. And we're going to fill the fry pot with water. If you have warm water available to you, it will speed up the process a little. Cold is fine. We'll fill up the pot all the way to the oil fill line, making sure that the elements are completely covered with water. We'll be using 8 ounces of BKI boil out liquid into the fryer. We'll turn the fryer on to bring the water to 200 degrees. For boil out, the water temperature should be set at 190 degrees on the manual thermostat. Once we set the program, then we'll pour in the 8 ounces of liquid, and this is a 20-minute procedure to bring the water up to temp and assist with brushes for cleaning all the areas of the fryer. This is the element brush, scrubbing behind the elements and in between the elements to clean all the sediment that's built up. Cleaning the drain with the drain brush. and using the pot brush to scrub all areas, removing all of the loose sediment and burnt on crisps. Remember, after finishing this process, you'll need to clean all of your brushes and wash in warm water. Now we shut off the fryer and we'll now drain the liquid. And as we're draining, we'll be agitating to make sure we're removing all of the crisps and the burnt on material with your pot brush. And swirling to make sure there's no buildup of sediment on the bottom of the fryer. Now we'll close the drain. And we're going to fill up the fry pot again. As I said before, using warm water would speed up the process, but cold is acceptable. We'll fill it again all the way to the oil level, making sure that the elements are covered completely. Now we're going to go through the neutralization process using 8 ounces of white vinegar. We need to push the fry program. For boil out, the water temperature should be set at 190 degrees on the manual thermostat. Once the water has reached temp, put the vinegar in and use the same brushes to clean the same way you did before. This neutralization process is to make sure that all of the chemicals are off all of the surfaces, and the vinegar will take out the last bit of grease that may have attached itself to the walls of the fryer. Cleaning the drain. And with the pot brush, circulating around, making sure that everything has the vinegar water neutralizing the surface. Nice scrubbing everywhere. circulating on the bottom to make sure that you get any sediment or residual buildup off the bottom of the fryer. And this is a 15-minute process. Then you shut off the fryer and dump by opening the valve and draining the water from the fryer. And as you're draining, you're using your pot brush again to circulate the water to make sure that you're getting every space covered. And then finishing draining the water. After finishing this neutralization process, a wipe down of the interior part of the fry pot should be done. And lastly, close the valve. This has been a presentation of the BKI BLF Auto Lift Fryer. For more information, please contact BKI directly at customer service 1-800-927-6887. Thank you.